update since the last meeting is I have provided you got via email draft Part 3 EAF that was discussed at the last meeting. You should be reviewing that, making sure that you understand what's in there. If you have any questions, I think we're going to be looking to take that up and for the board to make its determination of significance at the next available meeting. Since we last met on June 12th, New York State DEC amended its seeker forms in order to implement the environmental justice citing law that was actually adopted a few years ago. And what this did is it added a few sections of consideration to both the Part 1 EAF and the Part 2 EAF. The Part 2 EAF has a couple of sections that are relevant. I've attached a revised proposed EAF Part 2 to this document. And if you go to page 3 on the new form, item 5B, dealing with flooding, that now refers not only to the 100-year floodplain, but the 500-year floodplain. That's one of the changes, substantive. There are a couple of typos and corrections that were made, but that was the first substantive one. On page 4 of 13, under impacts on what used to be impacts on air, that has been changed now to impacts on air and climate. And formerly, it only asked if an air registration permit was going to be required. Now it asks if an air, if the action includes a state-regulated air emissions source, or if greenhouse gas emissions over 10,000 metric tons of CO2 equivalent will be generated. So this is really a question about greenhouse gas generation. The third change came toward the end on page 12 of 13 of the EAF, item 19, entitled Impact on Disadvantaged Communities. Now, disadvantaged communities are communities that have certain economic parameters assessed on a census tract basis. And the town of Ulster, based on that definition, is considered a disadvantaged community. So now, going forward, whenever we have an application in the town of Ulster, we're going to have to make this determination on whether the action is going to unfairly impact overburdened disadvantaged communities. And we'll help you, Dylan and I, to navigate this question, but even though the whole town is a disadvantaged community, there's certain areas that are determined to have been overburdened. And then when we have impacts in those areas of the town, we'll have to take a special look to make sure that residents of those areas aren't unfairly burdened in addition. So the last section is future physical climate risks, and that's section 20 on page 13. This section relates to climate change and whether climate change would result in increased vulnerability or to the project. So is climate change going to make this project vulnerable going forward? So it's somewhat of a administrative thing that we have to go through. The applicant has provided us with their updated Part 1 that answers the input questions that have us be able to answer these new questions on the new Part 2. There's no change with that flooding question. It wasn't in a 100-year flood zone, it's not in a 500-year flood zone. With regard to the air and climate, the project is not going to generate greenhouse gas emissions over 10,000 metric tons of CO2 equivalent. With item 19, yes, the proposed project may impact a disadvantaged community. However, the area that this project is up against is not an overburdened, this is part of the town. This is not considered a low-income overburdened area. So all of the no or small impacts are identified. Then, with regard to the future physical climate risks, there is no reason to believe that climate change is going to cause this project to be vulnerable in the future.
The Hudson River will not rise.
Not to that level. Not to that level. There are some streams on that, and if they were 100-year flood zones, I think you would have to take a harder look, but they're not. So the increase in storm is not going to significantly make those areas vulnerable. So with that said, it's our recommendation that you adopt this as prepared, to basically show that you've considered these new areas of interest, and that you distribute these to the involved and interested agencies and the interested persons who have asked to be copied. The last 3 pages of my submission is that form. It's very similar to what we did in May, where we sent it out saying the project changed. Have another look at us, let us know if any of these changes have, any significance for your comments. We would send this out again, and we've indicated to respond to us as soon as possible, but certainly in advance of the August 11th meeting. So if you agree, I think you could just acknowledge receipt of the Part 1 EAF as submitted by the project sponsor, and also adopting this revised Part 2 and distributing it to the involved agencies.
You can do that.
Okay.
What about your Part 3? That's for the draft.
So with this, right, I think it's sensible to allow agencies to respond to this.
Sure.
And if you get any substantive feedback that we haven't heard yet, that would give us the opportunity to get it into the Part 3.
Okay.
I think that I have spent a lot of time, Jason has spent a lot of time in really trying to make that a solid document that you can rely on, and I think as long as you're all comfortable with it, I know you received it over the weekend, so if you have any questions on that, I could certainly answer that tonight, or if you need more time to review it, we can review it on August 11th.
Okay. Okay, very good. All right, looks like we need a resolution on, just to be in receipt of.
Could you speak up so we could hear you? We cannot, you're not speaking into the microphone and we can't hear you.
I'm sorry? Who's talking to me?
You're not,
We can't hear
I
you.
asked if you could speak up, we could not hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Closer.
This one on? Can you hear that now?
Yes.
That's better, thank
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry. Okay, we need a resolution from the board that we received Part 1. Let's do this in 2 parts.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Acknowledge and receipt the new EAF,
Part 1.
EAF, Part 1.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have a microphone, sorry.
We
stopped you before.
There you go. Okay. Then we needed a resolution to adopt part 2 EAF that Mac just went through.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have those under our belts.
Could you repeat the name of the
Yeah.
applicant? I couldn't hear it.
Megan, can you see about
Someone was
the
asking a
things in
question.
distribution? Wonderful.
This is on, Xena Homes.
Mr. Christel,
Yes.
Mr. Mistakis,
Yes.
Mr. Stoll,
Yes.
Ms. Whalen, Chairman Almquist.
Yes. Okay,
That's all we're gonna do and adjourn to the next month.
you did a fine job.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
You too. Okay, back to old business.